I'm Paul Rachman. I'm one of the founding filmmakers of the Slamdance Film Festival and the director of 2006's American Hardcore and the forthcoming, which was at Sundance, very controversial, and the forthcoming Lost Rockers, and this is Dan Mirvish.
And you're a producer of a film.
Oh, and I'm a producer of a film at Sundance called We're Not Broke. My wife, Karen Hayes, directed it, and I met her here at Slamdance when she won the Audience Award in 2003. We started dating in 2004, and now we're married.
That's a heartwarming story.
It is, isn't it?
That
That is not very punk, but
No, not
it,
at all.
it's beautiful.
My name is Dan Mirvish, DanMirvish, and I am a co-founder at large at the Slamdance Film Festival, and I had a film here the very first year called Omaha the Movie, and I'm also a practicing director and writer and producer, and practicing, yeah, I'm still practicing. I'm a films maker, which is to say I've made more than one film. Yeah, my current film is called Between Us. It's an adaptation of an off-Broadway play by a guy named Joe Hortua, and it stars Julia Stiles, Taye Diggs, Melissa George, and David Harbour, and we are currently in post-production with that film. And I'm here at Slamdance just along with 18 years. Has it been that long? And we're here at Slamdance, and Paul and I both host a number of the screenings. We do Q&As, things like that, and some of the bigger events. So I'm in charge of the annual sledding competition, our 11th annual sled off to the death between Slamdance and Sundance, and also our 6th annual hot tub summit, which is the wettest hot tub summit it's the wettest panel discussion in Park City. Well, I don't know how sexy it is, but it's a bunch of pale, skinny white guys. But
You know, it's really out of love. I mean, Slamdance started because we all wanted to be part of Sundance. We desperately wanted to be part of Sundance. But, you know, this all happened in the mid-'90s. And the mid-'90s were a time where, you know, Disney bought Miramax, the first year of Fox
my
Searchlight.
accountant,
He owes me money.
So there was a transition time in indie film. Indie film was becoming co-opted by Hollywood. So we came up here kind of pissed off. We didn't get into Sundance, so we started our own thing, and it's carried on. And there's something that feels good about helping other filmmakers and staying in the mix and being able to come to Park City every year where we have a film festival paying for us to be here.
the short answer is yes. But I mean, you know, the nice thing about Slamdance is that we've really stuck to our basic goal, really, and size and scope from the first year, which is first-time directors, low budgets, and no distribution. And that really hasn't changed, and we don't show that many more films than we did the first year, and we've just kind of stayed really true to that. But also, qualitatively, it's a very different vibe. I mean, this is a great place for first-time directors to come, get a sense of the indie film scene, get a sense of Park City, and then when they make their second film or their third film, then they go to Sundance, and that's cool, you know. And then for their fifth film, they can't get that into Sundance, they come back and do it as a special screening here or whatever. So it's, you know, like probably a third of the Sundance filmmakers are probably Slamdance alumni now, and it's really, qualitatively, that's what's different about us, is that we're much more of an alumni-based organization. We, you know, Paul's literally one of my best friends because I met him at Slamdance, you know, and, you know, my 4 other best friends, I don't have that many, you're not my best friend, I have other good friends, Paul, you're the best friend, but they're all Slamdance alumni, for better, worse, or otherwise. That's where I find my friends, you know, and what's great is as the old fogies coming back every year, is we meet the new filmmakers, find out, oh, what's the hot new camera, what's the hot way to raise money for a film, you know, oh, it's Kickstarter this year, it's this camera that year, it's whatever, and it keeps us vibrant, it gives us ideas, and we collaborate with those filmmakers. I mean, almost every one of my projects I've done in the last 10 years has one way or another been a collaboration with some other Slamdance person, and in that way I think it's unique and kind of different.
Well, really, the first question up here is really how do they get their film sold? And every year that changes, really. There's always new distributors, new ways of getting your film out, and it's a hard question. I mean, I think every filmmaker, every independent filmmaker, you know, you're going to have films that sell easier than others sometimes, you know, and the answer, we tell a lot of the filmmakers, listen, don't come to Slamdance expecting that you're going to sell your film to, Sony or Warner Brothers or any big studio or anything, or to anybody. But you do come to Slamdance and get the sense of support. Dan and I both have experience, distributing our own films or finding alternative ways to get your films out, even before all these...
Back when it was film.
Back when it was film, and back when self-distribution, back in the days when self-distribution really wasn't...
Really meant something, man.
Or back when self-distribution was really not...
Not just a push.
It wasn't just this common thing that a lot of people are doing now. There were always ways. So, that's usually the top question. And then we definitely
tell them, don't ask that question. That's the wrong question to be asking.
And then the second question is usually, how do they get their film into other film festivals? And that's usually an easier question to answer because, a lot of other film festivals come up to Slamdance. We make the personal introductions. Dan and I know a lot of the other festival directors.
From a festival there, yeah.
So we're constantly, recommending a lot of
I don't know what my fee is, by the way.
Slamdance fees.
My fee to go to that film festival, you just got text line.
Yeah. So the what's important here is that the intimacy of Slamdance. We're at the Treasure Mountain Inn, which is on the top of Main Street in Park City. It's one building, it's one venue, it's 2 theaters, and everybody is seeing each other all the time.
It's very hot. It's clothing optional, and we have a hot tub summit.
So
It's intimate.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much. Paul, why do you think Paul met his wife here?
So the intimacy factor and the relationships that happen at Slamdance and carry on, there's a certain closeness and a certain support system that is almost inevitable if you're a Slamdance filmmaker. Well, I think filmmaking equipment-wise, not so much, because I'm an editor. I stay up to breast on the technical stuff. I think Dan does too. We're both making films approximately every 2 years. So on the filmmaking tools, but where we have learned a lot from our filmmakers is definitely on the self-distribution, internet, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, social media. One of our, Aaron Crumley, who was a filmmaker here with Four-Eyed Monster, which was in 2003. He was one of the very early proponents, one of the early films really using social media and getting this film out and using that kind of Creative Commons license and letting this film be played in a lot of places. And we definitely, here at Slamdance, learned a lot from him. So
I made him stay in my garage for a week until he taught me everything he knew.
and when I came to Sundance with American Hardcore, I had him stay at my condo and help me out. So the young filmmakers, particularly with the internet tools,
them whether they want it or not.
No, but we've learned a lot from the young filmmakers in terms of the social media and internet tools, and have enlisted them to help Slamdance with that too.
And Paul and I were really 2 of the first filmmakers that did Kickstarter in really pretty successful ways, and I think part of it is because we're so open to whatever the new technology or the new thing is that when that came along, both of us knew enough to jump on it right away.
That was because of Aaron Crumley, really. Aaron Crumley had a really successful Kickstarter campaign for a distribution company, and he kind of turned me on to Kickstarter, and I raised money for my next film that way, and have told other filmmakers to do it, and it's just,
Yeah, and I just made a movie with Julia Stiles started with Kickstarter, so it can be done. My last advice to filmmakers is to go to medical school graduation ceremonies and charm yourself with an up-and-coming medical student and marry them.
Well, I've always told young filmmakers, when you're making your first film, you really have an open choice. And it's your ticket to really be bold, be forthright, don't think about yourself, don't think about the audience, don't think about the distributors, don't think about any of that stuff. Just make the film you want to make. And you just might make that mark of something so different, so provocative, so ahead of its time, that'll just jumpstart your career because you'll blow everybody away. But if you start paying attention to all the rules, everything the distributors want, everything the producer reps tell you is selling, you're just going to make another film that's already out there. So take the chance with your first film.
And then don't be afraid to make a second film. I mean, that's actually the other advice I think we give people is, okay, because we see them usually once they've made their first film. So we tell them, jump back on that bicycle or on the horse right away, because there's the fear. Once you know everything about making your first film, you know now not to make another film that same way. And we have to tell people, no, you do have to make another film the same way, because that's the only way you're going to get your second film made.
I mean, a great example of somebody who came through the system through the Slamdance system really is Christopher Nolan. Following was a film that premiered at Toronto, didn't get bought. Slamdance was the only American festival to accept it. It didn't get into Sundance. It didn't get into all these other festivals. Chris Nolan...
And we rejected it the first year.
And we rejected it the first year. So it was the second year we took it. But, Chris Nolan came to Slamdance that year. He met Peter Broderick. He got advice on how to self-distribute it. He had the Memento script ready with his brother. Through Peter Broderick, he kind of got back into Hollywood, made his connections, and, he owns the Batman franchise now pretty much.